Amanda again from Scrimpingmommy.co.uk, and I'm here with another video as part of my hashtag 100 things. No idea what number I'm on, I've forgotten. But I am adding all of my videos to a playlist. So if you go to my channel and then look for my playlists, you will see one. I've got one on craft fair ideas, I've got one on cards, and I have created one which will list all of my hashtag 100 things, so we can keep track of them. So today I'm making vintage style kind of project, and let's see how it turns out. I've just got the basic idea in my head, don't really have a sample, just an idea. So I'm getting a piece of very vanilla cardstock. Now this project would suit best 12 by 12 cardstock, but I don't happen to have any, so I would advise using 12 by 12 and then you've got less waste, but I'll show you. I'm not going to waste any. So I'm cutting a 6 by 6 square first, okay, and then leaving myself that piece that we're going to use for later, and then this piece here I'm going to cut to 8 by 3, so 8 by 3, so there's not too much waste. I just think you get a better deal if you use 12 by 12, but I'm getting it. So I'm folding this in half. All of the measurements for what I'm doing will be over on my blog at scrimpingmommy.co.uk, so do go hop on over and have a look afterwards. Right, so I'm just going to leave that to one side because we're going to use that, don't need that, make a butterfly out of it later. So I'm going to stamp a background on this cardstock, and I'm using this stamp which is called Sheet Music. I'm not even 100% sure if it's still current, but I don't care, I'm still going to use it, and I will from time to time use products that maybe aren't current, because I think people might have bought it, still be inspired, or use something similar. Don't matter, does it? I'm using basic grey, and I'm just going to try and remember which way around music goes. That way, ain't it? Although I don't suppose at this stage it matters because we've got a square, so I could just turn it. And I'm inking. Now I'm not too worried even if I don't ink evenly and it inks blotchy, because I am going for a vintage look, so it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And then I'm just going to try my best to line it up. Again, I'm not too worried if it doesn't line up perfect, because I'm going for a kind of messy old look. We're going to age it with some inking. So there we go. So you can see how it's a bit, you know, mottled and faded. I want it to be like that. Okay, that's perfect. Just ink some more. If you want it perfect, use your Stamparatus or something similar. Right, I'm just going to line this up now and stamp again, because it's, my card is slightly wider than my stamps. There we go, we've got 2 rows of it. That's fine. I'm just going to wipe that ink up. There we go. I'm using my glass mat instead of the Stampin' Up grid paper because I have run out. I keep forgetting to add it to my order. I'm terrible. I forget basic things, you know, like glue and anyway, not to worry. Right, so we're going for the 3 by 4 card size on the envelope punch board. Okay, so that has told me to cut my paper by 6 by 6, and well, I'm using cardstock, and then it's telling me to punch and score at 2 5/8, so that's what I'm going to do. So punch and score, punch and score, score, punch and score. Okay, I'm going to round those corners off because I just think it makes it neater. And I'm only doing one for you today on the video, but I would make these in like a batch of 4 to 6, and then you've got a little collection of them. I'd maybe put them in a cello bag or something similar for a craft fair. Now, my music's on the wonk there. Don't matter if you want to plan it a bit better so that, you know, you start cutting and scoring so that your music's in a straight line, you can, but I don't think it matters. Okay. Score all of those lines. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is, let me just close that a minute. I am using I'm using Sahara sand, I'm lying. Sahara sand, and I'm going to do all of my edges. I'm going to ink everything so it gives my very vanilla cardstock an aged look. Super easy and super quick, don't need to fuss too much. I'm going to ink those edges like so, and then I'm going to go in with the help of my glass mat and I'm going to add some to the corners like that. I might go in after and add some more, I'm not sure, let's have a look. A bit more. Just to give it gives it a nice aged look without having to tea dye or coffee dye or mess about. I haven't got time for that, mate. Cooking bits of paper in cooker. I don't have time. I don't like putting food in cooker. Never mind paper. I'm a rubbish housewife. Okay, so I'm too busy for that. Okay, so what I want to do now is I do want to stamp a flower, and I'm using the what's it called, Blended Seasons. Now today is the last day that you can order this, and then it's gone forever. But you know, once if you I would buy it, it is beautiful, but once this is gone you can do this with any other kind of stamp, I suppose. It doesn't matter, you don't have to restrict yourself to what I'm using, you can use anything. And this looks especially nice if you do it in a Christmas theme as well. So what I'm going to do is just get my, no, not that one. Sorry, I'm wheeling round craft room getting my stuff because I've had to move my filming desk, so now everything isn't in front of me. Okay, I want to ink this up, but I'm not going to use all of it. I'm not going to use the whole flower, it's too big. Okay, so let me see. Bit of scrap now. Can use that for something else, not some scrap paper. Can use that for a sentiment, can't I? Let's use the scrap out of the bin here. What I was practising on earlier. I was practising on that earlier, and I was going to use basic black, but I decided it was too dark. So I'm just going to stamp just some of that flower on the bottom corner, not all of it. Okay, and because it's black it should just stand out that little bit more. There you go, like so. And then I did bring in my watercolour pencils, and I'm just going to add some colour with those. I thought about using my stamping blends, but because I'm going for a vintage look, the stamping blends are very vibrant and you know, they're really, really lovely. So I decided to go for watercolour pencils instead. I'm just colouring these really quickly, and not terribly well there, to be honest. I've got other things on my mind today. I've got to go and find Alexia some school shoes, and I just know it's going to be a nightmare. I hate getting children's, well, my children have always been difficult to get shoes for. I hate it. It's a nightmare. I'll be pulling my hair out. She starts high school this time, does my little girl. I'm dreading it. I'm going to be crying. I'm going to be crying my eyes out. Right, I'm going to go for red in the middle here. Well, not in the middle, for the flower. Because I think that's a bit more. We're coming up to Christmas. Everybody's getting ready. You know, we like to start doing Christmas at Easter, don't we? And Easter at Christmas. Because that's how we've been brainwashed by the supermarkets and retailers. So, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. So I'm starting mine early this year, so I thought if I did red, then it could be fitting for Christmas. Everybody's starting the craft fairs, like I've said. So I'll be coming up with lots of ideas. And as I say, I do already have a playlist. If you go and have a nosy, I do have a playlist with all craft fair ideas on. There's quite a lot on there as well. I did loads last year. And I'll be doing more again this year. Let's just keep... You can fast forward while I'm colouring in if you want. You know, I don't mind. I won't be offended. I'm not very easily offended. And I would just like to say today, thank you to everybody who supported me when I had a bit of a heckler. I think it was either yesterday or the day before. I had a bit of a naughty lady on, being a little bit mean, and you know, I shared it because I think it's funny. And I got lots of support, and lots of ladies commented to say, you know, how unnecessary it was. And I think it is. If you don't like what somebody does, just switch off. I'm not forcing you. I haven't got a gun to anybody's head. And I'm afraid I do have a Yorkshire accent. One lady did suggest I was Scottish. I'm not Scottish. I am English, and I am from Yorkshire. So that is why I have a slight accent. Just a slight one. Blimey. So yes, thanks to everybody who supported me. Well, like a little bit of a drama now and again, don't we? It makes life more interesting. Oh dear, bless her. She must have had a bad day. I think if the worst thing that somebody's got to complain about is my videos, then they've got a pretty good life, haven't they? So it's all good. I don't mind. You know. Children starving in Africa. You're complaining about a YouTube video. Oh, dear me. That's my answer to everything. If somebody's a bit mangy, I'll go, there's children starving in Africa, stop complaining. It's fine. Right, so I'm just adding deeper colour around the edge of the petals there. Trying to be a little bit, you know, tiny bit artistic. I'm not very good at it. It's not one of my strengths, but I do enjoy it. And you know, just because we're not brilliant at something, does that mean we shouldn't try it? Of course not. So that's that bit coloured in, and then the centre part I'm going to do. What am I doing? Crushed curry. Yes, crushed curry for the centre, to give that golden kind of Christmassy. See, these flowers could be anything, couldn't they? Don't matter. All right, so there we go. So there we've got our little envelope. So we're going to stick it together now. What am I going to stick it with? I'll use good old glue. Good old glue down there, and down there. Like so. That should stick nicely. And you can ink, you know, inside if you want as well. In fact, I think I might just, to carry the vintagey look through, keep it going. So that's that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to think about adding some bits of decoration. I've got some of this lace trim, which I'm just going to add some of that on there, I think. So I trim that really straight, and if I put a very thin bead of glue, because it does dry clear, so you won't see it once it's dry, and stick my lace, put my lace on there. You know, your lace and your ribbons don't have to be just wrap around and tie in a bow. You know, you can use them as embellishments more than that. Make sure it's stuck. It ain't stuck. Let me put some more on. Come on, don't be naughty. A bit more. Just needs a bit more. And I might just need to leave it to sit and dry a minute. Okay, just push that up there. And just leave that to sit and dry one moment. And then I do have these that I've had these ages. I've got some little hearts and I've got some buttons. I was just thinking I might just, I don't know, add them round and about, get them used up maybe. Just to add a little bit of, yeah, I think I will. Just to add a little bit of interest really. And jazz up these envelopes. Let me poke that through. And I'll just add that little tag there, so I think it's cute. And then if I get a glue dot, I can add one of these cute buttons. Just want a little one, I think. Do I, or do I want a big one? Let's have a look. Right. So I picked these up in the I think they might still have them if you go look in the, you know, the reduced section, clearance rack they call it, don't they? Put one there. I always have a little look out for little embellishments and things like that for me to use. And it's a good place to check regularly is the clearance rack, because you can get all sorts on there. Embellishments, ribbon, twine, cheap dyes. I always have a look, me. You never know when they're going to add something else as well. They're a bit sly. Okay, so I'm just going to trim that. Trim that. Okay. And once you've figured out your design, I'm taking quite a while here because it was an idea I had in my head and I hadn't done a sample. But now I've done that, I could replicate that for a craft fair or for gifts and bang them out in no time, because I'd just do the same thing over and over. So then I have my little note card to go in it. I'll just leave that to dry. So my little note card, we're going to replicate that, but I'm just going to use just the music. So let's ink that up, and then just, I've got a glue dot on my nail, and then just add my note card to the stamp. Give it a press. If you put a piece of scrap paper over the top when you're doing that, then you won't get ink on it like I have. Which is what I've done there. Let's move that out of the way. And then using the same stamp set, the Blended Seasons, we've got these lovely sentiments. So I'm going to put thank you. So let's find that one. I haven't used this side of the set yet. Let's have that. Just get a block for it. Line it up. And I'm going to use these scrap bits over here so that we're not wasting. Okay. And then to make it stand out, I am going to use the black. Hopefully that'll stamp nicely. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to punch it, cut it, or what yet. I've not decided. There we go, that's pretty, isn't it? Put that away. Let me have a see. I think we might punch that out. Actually, if one of my... Let's have a look if any of these will punch that out. Ooh, just look at that. This is the Pretty Labels punch, and that just fits on there. Oh, smash them. Super duper. Okay. And then what I can just do is get my Sahara sand. Ink that up. Make it look all nice and vintagey. Get some dimensionals. Oopsie daisy. One on there. And one on there. And then what I think I will also do is cut some more of this, shall I? No, tell you what I'm going to use. I think this will look nice. I'm going to try some of this twine. This like linen thread it is, that's what it's called. And I think I'm going to try and make a bow with it. Ooh. I saw one of my team members last week made a really beautiful bow using like thread, just using thread like this. So let's see if I can. I think what she did was, I think she probably wound it a few times like that, because it was quite a few layers to it. So, sorry, I'm making it up as I go along now, ladies and gents. Okay. And then we'll tie it in a bow. Okay. And because it's linen thread, it doesn't matter if it's messy, because it's meant to be. So I don't have to worry about faffing as much with this, which is good. Okay, and then I'm going to trim that off. And I'm going to trim that off. I'm going to stick it on with a glue dot. I always double up on my glue dots. I always add 2, just to be sure. Just to be doubly sure. And that is a lovely vintagey look there with all that twine. Spread that bow out. Okay, my envelope's dry now. So now I can put my little note card. You can write your little message inside. And I can add my note card to my envelope and then stick it down. And I think that is really, really lovely. So I hope you'll give that a go. Really simple. Go and have some fun. Shall I zoom in? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.